Hey there, comic book fans. This is Travis.
I'm Ethan.
And this is our new comic book review. We got that silly intro you saw just a little while ago. We'll keep that until we think of something else brilliant to come up with for these shows. Anyway, this is going to be us just talking about the comic books for each of the weeks as they come out, or as soon as we get the comic books in and we read them and we decide we want to talk about them. This set of comic books will be for the last week of October. We're missing one book from that list because people who send me my comic books neglected to put that in the pile for some reason. So we're missing Justice League Dark, which sucks.
Yeah.
We'll get to it at some point when we actually get it in. At any rate, first thing we're going to talk about is All-Star Western. What'd you think of All-Star Western, Ethan?
I liked it. I love the fact that Jonah Hex can stand on a porch and face like a small army and shoots all of them without getting hit once.
Right. And manages to keep one alive long enough to torture him to find out the information he needs. Yeah. I get a real kick out of this book. Well, of course, I kind of like Western type things anyway. Part of this has I thought the whole porch scene had kind of a Red Dead Redemption feeling from it, the video game.
Yeah.
So I got a kick out of that because I like that video game. This book had less information in it than I thought issue number 1 did, but it didn't have to cover as much territory as issue number 1 did it in. I mean, basically, the crap's starting to hit the fan here.
Yeah.
When they end up we find out just how involved this evil cabal is. They introduce the crime Bible, which of course we know from
it's classic.
Right, we know from the prior DC universe, and it's cool that they're dragging it back through time and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on and how Jonah gets himself out of the situation he's currently got himself into. What'd you think of the backup story that's in it?
I love the fact that it's zombies, because what goes well with westerns besides zombies? And I love it when the guy brains the main character in the back of the head, and they're like, yeah, we'll use him as zombie bait, and then El Diabolo's there, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, kind of interesting that, of course, his split personality doesn't come out and isn't effective unless he's unconscious or asleep or whatever. So hopefully they protect his body, huh?
Yeah.
I was kind of interested in the way it was told. It's definitely told different than what the regular All-Star Western comic is, and it's good in that sense. I don't know that I was real keen on the way it was told. The whole this is an old Western. I don't know. There was something about the flavor of it that I
just
didn't.
seemed kind of fast-paced. It's like, oh look, there's a town with zombies.
Right.
That was pretty much it.
Right. No real introduction to the character.
Yeah.
So I guess we're learning the characters as we go along, which might be okay. Curious to see what the next one is. I'm looking forward to the backup issues as a whole, just to see what other kind of characters they bring out and whatnot. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the comic. Love the art. There's some spreads in there that are pretty cool. The big fight scene's great. That's a great scene. I love the scene where they're coming up to Arkham's house. That double-page spread, the sky, the colors that involve there and whatnot are pretty good. But anything in the book that didn't work for you?
Not really. I liked it as a whole. It was pretty good.
But for me, it wasn't the main title so much. It was just the backup story. There was parts in it and whatnot. So me and Ethan think we're gonna rate books for now. I always go back and forth on another one. I want to rate books and whatnot. So for now, we're gonna rate books based on a 5-point system. 5 being best books out there, and 1 or less being obviously you really shouldn't have picked this up and somebody owes me some money. So what'd you think about this book?
I don't want to get all fancy and do like 4.5s or anything, so I'm going to give it a straight 5.
Yeah? 5?
I liked it a lot.
Right. Okay.
If I was rating with the backstory, I'd probably give it a 4, but I'm just going to go off of the Jonah Hex story, so I give it a 5.
Okay. I thought it was somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. If I'm going to leave 5 for being just the best thing I've ever read in my life, it's going to take a lot to get there. But I like the book. Anyway, so let's go on to the next book we read.
Fury of Firestorm.
The Nuclear Men. Yeah, big long title. I'm a huge Firestorm fan. Always been a huge Firestorm fan. Anytime there's been a Firestorm book out there, I've collected it. I like Ronnie Raymond when he was a Firestorm back in the day. I like Jason when he was Firestorm in his own title. I didn't get the stuff that had to do with the Brightest Day and whatnot, where it had the two of them playing off each other, my understanding, and that it's like Firestorm stuff I haven't collected. I was excited about this title because, of course, Gail Simone has helped writing it, and I'm a huge Gail Simone fan. This book isn't working for me a whole lot. I'm not sold on it yet. There's things about that I'm interested in, that I'm curious about. I'm curious about the Fury of Firestorm, the Firestorm creature, whatever I call him.
What's big monster?
He seems to have his own personality to some degree, and then Jason and Ronnie's personalities bleed through it, but it seems to have its own personality to some degree. What drives that personality? So does a nuclear power have its own entity, its own personality?
I don't know. Does it?
Well,
I mean, that's what it looks like.
So that's the part of the book that I'm curious about and interested in. I still think that Jason is coming across as being a jerk.
Jason's a jerk.
and so if I'm not excited to read the about the characters, it makes it harder for me to read the book. Now, do I have to like every character that's in every book? No, but you got to give me some reason to want to like the guy.
Yeah, you'd think you'd like one of the main characters, but.
What'd you think of it?
I liked it. I like the art, and I like the government people that are chasing them down. And I find it really funny that the hyena squad gets high before they jump out of a plane and then go
They're a
attack
bunch of tweakers,
them.
yeah. No. Are they really the government, though? I'm not even sure they're the government. That they're not some other secret whatever group. But yeah. I kind of like that part. I mean, that they're obviously not. Well, I hope they're not the government, because whatever government agency they are, they're nasty and they're ugly people. They're killing whoever and blowing up the school and and doing all this stuff. I do think it's kind of interesting, the cover-up story where they're all they're listing them all as terrorists and that sort of thing.
They open up a closet of Ronnie's house and there's like the full arsenal there.
Right.
How'd they get that in there?
How'd they plant all that stuff in there? Yeah, that's all. So I'm gonna hang with the comic for a while because I'm a big Firestorm fan, and I have faith in Gail will be able to pull this out and make me interested in it. But right now, I don't know. Other than the creature itself and some of the mechanics that are involved in there and what it's about, that's the part that interests me. The stuff outside of that, I don't know that interests me a whole lot.
What'd you think about Tonya's creepy vision thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, did she actually have a vision?
I don't know. I mean, is that just her in the moment or what?
Right. She's just having her own religious moment because she was potentially near death or whatever. I don't know. That's kind of ominous and interesting. I mean, that's another slice of it that I guess is interesting. And I like the little writing tidbit about Ronnie waking up and it's just the test pattern on the TV and whatnot, which I don't know. Do you even know what a test pattern is?
No.
Yeah, see, I thought that was kind of odd. I mean, I know what that is because when I was a kid, television didn't run 24 hours a day. I mean, the stations actually did end, and they didn't run infomercials. I mean, it just and that was it. So that made sense to me, but obviously, younger reader, that not going to make sense to. But I did like his little part there. I think that was a little piece of Gale writing shining through. But for me right now, this comic lands at 2, maybe a 3. Yeah. I like the artwork in it, but the story isn't gripping me at all. You the same?
Yeah. There's not much character development. It feels like.
Yeah. Other than
starting, but
right. Other than Jason continues to be
a jerk.
And that's not how he was in.
No, he wasn't.
In the prior series that he was the main character. I mean, he was cool in that. He was fun.
Yeah.
He was trying to figure out and learn things. He was a smart kid.
Yeah.
But he was trying to learn things, whereas this character is just a stinking know-it-all.
Yeah. I mean, and he's kind of prejudiced. Like in the first issue when he accuses Ronnie of being racist,
right.
It's like isn't that more him being
Right,
racist?
right, yeah. Look in the mirror. I mean,
Yeah.
Granted, Ronnie's shallow to some degree, but Ronnie strikes me as being a good guy that just doesn't know any better, in some sense. So he's more likable. I mean, he's not real brilliant, but he's at least likable. Tanya could potentially be an interesting person, or she could just be the extra victim that they drag her off. I'm not quite sure exactly how I feel out there, but Jason, right now there's not anything redeemable in my eyes about the character. So I wish that was different. But new universe, different personalities, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, next we're going to talk about Teen Titans #2. This is the issue where they introduce Skitter to us. We get to see Solstice at the end of it, which I guess is going to be the other one of the new Teen Titans. I know when we saw the cover, was the cover for the first one or was it promotional ads? It showed like 5 different people on it. It showed
it was
obviously
like
we knew Superboy, the new Wonder Girl,
Red Robin. I know it showed Skitter.
Skitter was on it. There was this dark figure flying around, which I had no idea that was. That must be Solstice, because at the end of this issue, it's got her all black looking, energy-wise and stuff. And then there's the other character that we haven't actually been introduced yet, which I'm assuming we'll probably see in the next issue or whatever. There are things I like about this book, and there are things I don't like about this book. Some of the things I don't like about this book are like things I complain about the Teen Titans all the time. I'm not sold on those 4. Forgot about Bart. Forgot about Kid Flash. I'm not sold on them being the Teen Titans. I know there's a whole generation of people that's the Teen Titans. That's what they grew up reading, and so as far as they're concerned, that has to be. There were groups prior to the new DC-50 change. I liked the group. The writing was not good during those times, but I liked the characters there. I thought the Teen Titans were interesting makeup when it was Blue Beetle, Red Devil,
that was pretty cool.
Kid Eternity, Static Shock, Aqua Girl. It was an interesting makeup of interesting secondary characters that they could do a lot with because there hadn't been a lot done with them yet. But everybody wants to fall back to Tim, Cassie, and Connor.
Yeah,
and Bart. It's like, oh, it's got to be them.
Yeah, it felt like the Teen Titans, and then they went back to those people, and I was like, oh, it's those people.
Right.
Again.
Now, see, I know there are people who are huge Tim Drake fans. I'm not one of them. He's the Robin that I never really read about and whatnot, and I just find him kind of an obnoxious know-it-all lots of times, and so he's not my favorite. And he's kind of that way in this one. He's less annoying in this issue than he was in the first one. He's got some dumb lines in this one though too, which I think you're gonna potentially touch on. I like the new Wonder Girl look. I even kind of like the character. I like the fact that she, obviously, looking at her house, she's been stealing stuff for forever.
Yeah.
Doesn't care but cares, obviously. I'm curious to see how they're going to use Skitter. We've just been kind of introduced to Skitter. If she stays in bug form all the time and she doesn't speak English, which she didn't seem to, other than maybe she was saying kill, that could be really interesting. If there's no way to communicate with her, that's going to be, it'll be curious to see how they write that part. I like the villain that was in this one that was hunting her down. That was kind of a cool concept. The guy that had all of his brothers and they teleport through each other and whatnot. That's all interesting and stuff.
Get trashed.
I'm like I said, I'm less annoyed with Tim Drake in this one than I was in the last one as a whole. He's not quite so I'm smarter than everybody else, smarmy, that I want to kind of slap him. The little bit that Superboy is in this continues to make him somewhat interesting. Almost makes me think I should be picking up the Superboy title just because I'm kind of like, what's he really about? They mentioned that he has telekinesis in there.
They say that his telekinesis powers, they don't know the full extent of them.
Yeah, which, if he's a clone off of Superman doesn't have telekinetic abilities to the best of my knowledge, so maybe they've really changed him. So, curious about that. I don't know it. Maybe some of you out there understand and know how it works. You can give us a buzz and let us know what the new Superboy is like, since we're not actually reading it, and what the heck his powers are and stuff. I'm kind of liking this book as a teen book. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked it, but please, no more confusing Tim Drake and Cassie romances, because there was so much of that in the last Teen Titans before the New 52, and it was like, I mean, it was like every other issue. Does Cassie love Tim Drake, or does Tim Drake love Cassie? It's like,
And what
I
about
don't
Connor?
care. Yeah, I
Right.
know. It's like, well, what about Connor? It's
Right.
like, ew. It's like, get over it. I mean, then like she's ramming into people. She rams into Skitter. She punches Skitter into a wall, and he's like, I could fall in love with her, and I'm like, please don't.
Well, that's what makes me all hot and bothered for a girl is when she can punch the hell out of something else, let me tell you. Yeah, that was kind of a dumb line. And,
Yeah, that was.
And not that Cassie is hard on the eyes. I mean, because she's good looking. There's no doubt about that. But in that moment where you're basically getting your butt handed to you, that isn't what will go through my head.
Yeah.
But then I guess I'm not, some superhero deals with people beating me up all the time. So, whatever. Yeah, I don't think that's necessary. I think they can develop these characters and have them all have personalities without them needing to have this romance or try rekindling something that, quite frankly, annoyed the crap out of us in the last edition of it.
Yeah.
Because they all came off as just being really needy, and at this point, they shouldn't all be really needy at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think Skitter, her name amuses me, and the fact that her sister thought, well, who will be afraid of something named Skitter? So your sister wraps herself up in a cocoon and turns into this creepy bug thing, and you decide to name her Skitter.
Because it's cute.
Yeah.
Cute and
How's
harmless.
Skitter cute? Skitter is not a cute verb.
Actually, yeah. I don't know. You're right. It's not. I don't think so either. But and the part with Kid Flash.
Oh, I love the fact that he's sitting there in his flat, in his cell, and he has the piece of chalk, and he's just doing his little symbol. I love his inner monologue. How he'd be like, "Not Flash" or "Mini Flash."
Yeah.
And okay, so you'd think you have. I mean, I know he's just a kid, but you think you'd have some better means of restraining him and his super speedster powers. I mean, why would you give a super speedster a big heavy metal object? Because then the minions open the door and he proceeds to beat the heck out of them with his big chain.
Yeah. The first thing is why would you open the door and go, hey, if you make one false move, I'm going to tase you.
And then we're going to use lethal force.
Because the guy moves faster than your taser runs. So, yeah. But that's probably why they're evil minions as opposed to their own mastermind villains, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. It was amusing, but obviously idiots. Yeah. So for me, I give this a solid 3.
Yeah. 3 sounds good.
I'm enjoying it. Definitely plan on picking it up. It's not on any teetering list right now of things I might not want to get. It's a fun little book. Okay, last.
The Sixth Gun. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I like the art, I like the story. It proceeds to amaze me. We're getting some backstories on some of the characters.
Yeah, Sixth Gun is probably one of my absolute favorite titles all in all. Any of you who haven't read it yet,
You should.
You're right.
Pick it up.
Go pick up the first trade, if nothing else. I really think Omni Press could sell this book on a money-back guarantee because I can't imagine anybody's going to give it back unless they're just being buttheads. Because it's a great read.
It's really good.
This issue was really good in the fact that we get to Becky, one of the main characters with the Sixth Gun. She gets to basically have a vision backwards to kind of talk to her father, and of course at the same time he's having a vision forward. So they can have that conversation together.
It's cool. It's cool.
But they're pretty bizarre.
It's creepy.
But pretty bizarre for him to be standing there knowing that his daughter, who's outside playing right now as a little child.
And she's holding the gun, so obviously that means that he's going to be deceased.
Right, and that she's going to end up being saddled with that burden.
Yeah.
So that's a great part. The other great background story and whatnot that's in there is with... oh heck, I'm drawing a blank on his name. What's the guy's name?
Oh, I don't remember.
Here I am grabbing the comic so I can look to see what it is because I can't remember what his name is right offhand. Gord.
Yeah, Gord. We're getting some background story on Gord.
He goes back to the house where he was a slave at, and obviously lots of bad stuff happened there. His family basically
got
we find out was sacrificed. They were human
to
sacrifices.
summon up the guns for the general to use.
General,
while the general's still
yeah.
alive.
Yeah, General Humes did that.
You find out that he pretty much
Butchered his
murders
whole family.
Everybody. Yeah, and then he proceeds to murder everybody who's in the cult except for the general.
He hasn't taken out the general yet. So we get a lot of backstory on him, where he's at, where he's going, what he's going to move forward to. That's I thought was a really interesting. Yeah, there wasn't crazy action in this, whatnot.
I don't need crazy action.
Well, right, but yeah, it just fills in so much. It's so good. It's so good as part of this whole thing. And of course, then at the end, what do we get at the very end? Basically, Becky's told, because she's with the Sword of Abraham, which is a religious group that's basically out
They're
just
like
to
religious
collect the guns.
soldiers.
Collect
And
the
protect
guns
them.
and protect them. Well, they probably want to use them for their own.
Well, yeah,
good
that'd
too,
be the thought, but
and they basically tell her at the end of this issue that
you can't leave
this
ever.
monastery she's in. She's never gonna get to leave. She wants to go find Drake Sinclair, who's disappeared, but nope, you're never gonna leave. You're never gonna go anywhere. You're stuck here.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how that gets addressed, because she's a willful enough lady that
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna go
I
for
don't.
that.
I can't see her staying there.
So, I mean, part of me does miss Drake because he's my favorite character in it, but I'm like getting all this extra stuff about it. All the extra information on Gardo makes him just that much more of an interesting character on where he's coming from and whatnot.
Yeah.
Fabulous book.
And it's not like he's seeing when he's at the old place they used to work as a slave. It's not like he's just seeing it in his head.
Yeah.
There's a physical something there. Like at one point when his wife grabs his arm, he's
Right.
down this like cult basement thing.
Uh-huh.
It's all torn up and like old and ragged. And
Or her
stuff.
hand looks like a mummified
Yeah,
hand until he
yeah.
looks at her, and then she looks.
And then she
looks
looks normal,
like,
but the hand that grabs him is
right. So it's
all-
probably a corpse that's walking around in some sense.
is a corpse or some sort of other special baddie thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's like I said, the book's got just so much going on in it that everybody should be reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody should be
Yeah.
reading it.
We
It's-
picked it up. I mean, we looked at it and we thought, oh, this is going to be good. And then we started to read it and it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
really good. Like, whoa, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you rate this?
I give it a 5.
Yeah, I'm this issue in particular, I'm gonna give a 4. I'm really liking it. There are definitely lots of issues within this series that I would give a 5. There could have been some other stuff probably in this one that would have put me at a 5. I want to see something get shot, I guess, or beat up. Of course, I guess we did see Gordo hack a few things with some
Yeah.
axes, so I mean, there was a certain amount of violence that made it worth it and whatnot. But still a great title. Like I said, I recommend everybody pick it up. If nothing else, you should pick up the first trade if you don't have it. It reads really well, and it's just a great book. It's a great independent book. The guys that do the work on it are great guys.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
So can't see anything wrong with the book. It's a great book. Okay, well that's it for this edition. We'll probably see you down the road. We'll come up with some other ideas and whatnot to maybe make these a little more interesting than just me and Ethan being talking heads. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah? Yeah, so, we'll have some issues where I beat him the entire issue and the entire show. That should be fun, right? Watching me beat him up.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this week. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.